very much. I appreciate it. I responded, but I'll wait until we have approval. Then I'll copy you in on my email I send to Piper.
Okay,
You
we're gonna
guys
send the
have-
pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, that phone was pretty quiet.
Mr. Schulte,
Here.
Mr. Martin, here, Mr. DeBoer, and Mr. Helmers is here.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who gets it.
Consider the agenda for February 19, 2025. We have to take off the closed session.
Yes.
Anything else?
Like that motion with that change.
Then motion and support. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried. Minutes for February 11th, 2025.
Make a motion for their approval.
I have a motion for approval of February 11th minutes
Second it.
and support. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried. Consider approval of resolution number 27, 24, 25, approving post-issuance bond compliance policy.
Do you need to speak on any of this, Maggie, or?
So I think, Rochelle, you probably told them that the post-issuance compliance policy is something that's pretty standard. We think that you've passed one in the past, that you've approved one in the past. This is a newer one under Allers. It just basically says Rochelle is going to do certain things, to make sure that these bonds remain in compliance. That you're going to spend the project dollars on the project, that she's going to keep records of when the expenditures went out, interest was accrued on any, monies as you guys invest the dollars until they're spent, et cetera. So that's really just post-issuance compliance. I know that Jason Komisky, your attorney, has said that they would meet with you guys or have a conversation with Rochelle if there were any questions after today's meeting. So
I probably will once I get into it, looking into it more further, so we'll.
that's just fine.
Okay.
The auditor is being identified for this, but there is still support from your office and Ayler's Cooney throughout.
Correct. Yeah. So we're still going to continue. We're going to do your continuing disclosure documents. We're still here to answer questions along the way, things like that.
It's just more if the IRS ever did an audit, I just got to make sure that we have the money so much spent within, 6 months and then a year
Correct.
and 18
Correct.
months and then 20 and then 2 years or something, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we had that conversation, Rochelle, that you were going to spend your ARPA dollars and the monies that were set aside for this first. And then you'd spend the bond proceeds, and then you would spend cash resources. And so we have no concerns that the bond proceeds won't get spent in the times that are allotted by the IRS. So.
Okay. I think you and I had a conversation that we were going to talk. I was going to, one time spend the bond proceeds, next time spend ARPA, just kind of,
Yeah.
just to make sure.
Yeah, and that's okay. Right. Right.
Yep. Okay.
The motion on resolution 27.
Yes.
I will make that motion.
We have a motion on resolution 27. Do we have support?
Support.
And support by Lauren. Any more discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Schulte?
Yes.
Mr. Lauren?
Yes.
Mr. DeBoer?
Yes.
Mr. Helmer votes aye.
And Jason.
Jason. Mr. Vandy Hook.
Aye.
Motion.
I vote aye.
Yep, I hear that. Thank you. Consider motion passed. Consider approval of resolution number 28, 24, 25, approving bond disclosure policy.
So this document is again talking about kind of after the issuance, and this is regarding disclosure. So you will be required to file annual financials. These are some things that you were already required to do under your prior bond issues. Again, Spear Financial will file audited financial documents on behalf of you. We'll file the annual operating data. But this just also says that, we need to make sure that if you are notified from S&P that you have a ratings change, an investment ratings change, that you guys would let us know that so we can make that. Or if you make any other financial obligations to banks or leasing of we'll say, larger than operating leases, or copiers, computers, things like that. So you would let us know so we can determine if we should file something on your behalf or not, so.
Any more discussion, any comments? Hearing none, I would take a motion on resolution 28. A motion by Loring for resolution number 28.
Support it.
Support by DeBoer. Anybody got anything else?
Nope.
If not, all those in favor are Mr. Loring. Aye. Mr. DeBoer.
Aye.
Mr. Vandy Hoof.
Aye.
Mr. Schulte.
Aye.
And Mr. Helmers votes aye. Motion has passed. Consider approval for resolution number 29, directing the acceptance of a proposal to purchase $5 million amount subject to obligation bond, capital loan.
So this is the big one, everyone. Maggie Berger with Spear Financial. We have negotiated yesterday for the purchase from Piper Sandler of Des Moines, Iowa, for $5 million of general obligation capital loan notes series 2025. These are the proceeds for your jail project. We do have a true interest cost of 4.1277, which is a very good rate in today's market. We have seen obviously higher interest rates over the last 2 to 3 years. These are 20-year bonds. So we feel very favorable thinking that that rate would come in somewhere between a 4, maybe 4.25, and so we're real happy with the 4.12. The price is $5,376,701.30, and really what that means is we were able to negotiate 5% interest rate, which is what we have been talking to you about ever before you even went out for a referendum to your voters. So we use those 5% interest rates, and to buy down that true interest cost of 4.12, the underwriter is giving you $376,000 to do that. You do have cost of issuance that comes out of there, so your net is about $299,000. And if you'll recall from some earlier conversations that we had just a month or so ago or 2 months ago with John, your construction engineer, and the board, that we were hoping to be able to get some premium dollars to help offset the dollars that you guys are going to have to spend out of the general fund and other funds to build this jail or make these jail improvements. So really happy with that. On the first page, we've given you the debt service schedule. We've also included in there the ratings report. We did have the county rated as we had done in the past. The county was reaffirmed at the AA minus, which is not a negative. The minus just means it's the lower section of their AA category. They note that this is not only for this rating, but also they are, looking at your 2017 GO bonds and reassigning that rating as well. The outlook is very stable. They talk about the robust available reserves relative to your revenue, which is great credit quality. They talk about you having an informal fund balance policy, and that your target is maybe 20% of expenditures as kind of a minimum as an informal policy. It's really good. We've done some highlighting in there for you to review. As part of this rating, we thank the county, your county auditor did a fantastic job on the call talking about the different things going on within the county, financial budget. She gets a whole lot of questions in a 1 hour period, so thank you very much. We also then attached your final debt service schedule. The bonds are callable after June 1 of 2033, and that just means at that time, if you had money ahead, you could pay down on the bonds, you could pay them off in full, or you'd be able to refinance. So if we have interest rates that are, 2%, 2.5%, we'll do a refunding run for you to prove that they either save you enough money or that they don't save enough money to refund them out. Because obviously there's costs attached with refunding, so we want to make sure that there's a net savings there. This goes on, and then we go into our bond sale comparables. And this is really just important because when we have a negotiated sale versus a competitive sale, we want to show you that that really is where the market is. So there are a few from Iowa, one from Wisconsin here, that show you that, we are in a 5% interest rate market and where those yields are coming in comparison to where yours came in. We feel very confident on the comps that we've seen in the last couple of months, that today and yesterday in the pricing, we got very good interest rates as to where the rates were coming in. We saw a little bump over the weekend of about 5 basis points, and that really was shaved off from what we were seeing in the runs and the debt service projections that they'd given us last week. So again, very confident in this. I would answer any questions that you have, but by taking action this morning, you're going to be locking everything in. And then that is going to allow us to turn around and tell Piper, you'll have documents in a couple of weeks that you'll execute upon, and then the money will be in your account on March 19th. Any questions for me?
Anybody got any questions?
No.
Jason, you good?
I'm good. I'd make a motion to approve resolution 29.
I have a motion from Vedico for resolution number 29. Do I have a second?
Support.
And a second from Schulte. All those, Mr. Vedico, what'd you say?
Aye.
Mr. Schulte?
Aye.
Mr. Loring? Aye. Mr. DeBoer?
Aye.
And Mr. Helmers votes aye. Resolution number 29 has passed. Thank you. Consider approval of blanket issuer of representation.
Can you explain that, Maggie? I mean, Ehlers and Cooney just need this, right?
Yeah, so yeah, this is just a document that they need on hand. So bonds are no longer physically held. So if you've been a part of county government for a very long time, 20, 30 years ago, there were bonds and they were physically held. Like there was a paper bond and it was held. Bonds are now held all electronically at the Depository Trust Company. And Depository Trust Company is out of New York City. They handle all municipal bonds in the nation. And this is just saying that you are who you are, right? We know that you are who you are, but Ehlers and Cooney, being that they did not work on your last bond issue, needed to have this letter in their existence, in their files. Rochelle and I looked back, neither one of us had a copy of the letter. That may have gotten signed in 2017, but it may have also gotten signed years and years before that. So it's probably just a good thing to update this and make sure that everybody has a copy. So really this is not changing or doing anything different. It's just making sure and saying, yes, we all recognize that you're a public agency that can use and issue municipal bonds.
I forgot to ask you earlier, does the vice chairman can sign it today, or I sign that, or who signs that? Does it matter?
I can look at that. I can look back at the documents. I think anybody that, I think probably whoever's authorized to sign. So if the chair is not there, I think you can have the vice chair sign. That's not a problem.
Okay, that's what I meant to say vice chair or myself, so that works.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Any more discussion or questions? If not, I would take a motion.
A motion.
Have a motion for the approval of blanket issuer of representation. Do I have support?
Support.
I have support from DeBoer. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
All right, I think we're good.
think that's all, that's it, isn't it?
Okay?
All right, thanks, Maggie.
Jason, did you need me to leave this open for you or not? Because I can leave it open another 15, 20 minutes as we talked about or not.
If you don't mind, that'd be good.
That's fine. I'm gonna mute myself. I'm gonna shut my video off and I'll kind of look back, but as you guys, in the rest of your stuff, you can go ahead and just jump off and then I'll close it down. Like I said, I've just gotta close it down by about 8:45, okay?
I'll probably jump off before we start that conference board meeting at 8:30, so
That sounds great. Thank you so much, you guys. Have a great afternoon.
thank you.
Thank you. Okay, here we go, guys. Consider approval of resolution 30 in support of joint CHBP 28E agreement and letter support for the competitive highway bridge program grant project. That's a lot.
It is. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So as I mentioned in my report to the board last time, the F10 bridge, which has been in our 5-year program for several years now, it's getting close to starting the process of getting to its final stages with the DOT and going out for bid. However, there is now an opportunity for grant funding that has come across the state. We submitted this bridge for it. So what this will do is, instead of us using our highway bridge program funds that are allocated towards us, this will use grant funding, which then saves our bridge funding for other bridges in the future. The only downside, if you want to consider it a downside to this, is when we do a bridge using the highway bridge program, 80% of that is from our highway bridge funds, and the other 20% comes from the same bridge funds, but then the DOT swaps it with their federal funding for local funding, so they call it the swap program. So the entire bridge is essentially funded out of our highway bridge program. By doing it this way, the 20% can't be done that way, so it'll come from our local dollars. We do have enough reserves to accomplish this, but in the end, it still saves us a lot of bridge money from our program, and I think it's a good deal for us. The resolution is required by the DOT for the support of the grant and part of their signature page. The DOT has hired HDR Engineering to do the grant proposal, so we will also be responsible for paying our pro rata share for that. So it's based on the number of bridges, which is, I think, around 20 or so bridges, something like that. So we'll pay 1/20th of the consultant fee for securing the grant. Otherwise, the IGA or the 2080 agreement that they put out, it's pretty straightforward. It looks like a normal DOT 2080 agreement. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any other questions on the resolution.
Anybody have any other questions? Which bridge is it?
It's the F10 bridge. That's on Pierce Avenue south of Sibley.
Transdago. By Transdago place down there. South Lions Pit.
Oh, the narrow one.
Are you applying for the grant or did you just applying?
The DOT is applying for the grant using a consultant to help them put that application forward. So we don't have the grant yet, but it looks very favorable. The E6 bridge that's just west of town here that was built a couple years ago, that was done under the same type of program.
Does that cover all the cost of that bridge?
It'll cover 80% of the costs.
80%, okay.
And if it does not cover 80% of the cost, then we will be able to use our HVP funds to bring it up to 80%. We will only be responsible for 20% from our reserves.
Any other questions or discussion?
I'd make a motion on resolution 30.
On the motion on resolution number 30,
Second.
and have support from Warren. Mr. Schulte?
Aye.
Mr. Warner?
Aye.
Mr. Vanderhoof?
Aye.
Mr. DeBoer?
Aye.
And Mr. Helmers votes aye. Resolution number 30. Thank you.
Okay, the next item is an amendment to the 5-year program. We just did an amendment at the last meeting to add those FEMA bridges to be able to build them and use the FEMA funding. This amendment came about right after that meeting ended, and this is related to this CHPB grant that we just discussed. Currently, the bridge, the F10 bridge, was shown as using our HBP federal funding. In order to secure the grant, DOT has recommended that we not show federal funding already on the bridge while they're trying to secure federal funding. So they have asked us to amend our 5-year program to show grant funding for that bridge. So essentially the action we just took to join the CHP proposal is related to this amendment to show or reflect that type of funding for the bridge. It was on page 4 at the top. It's the F10 bridge where it shows total funding of 1 million, shows 200,000 of local funding. The rest would be grant funding, which there was not a column for that, although it does say grant funding in the description there.
Sounds like a good idea.
It's, yeah, it is good. I mean, it saves us a lot of our HBP funds.
I'll make a motion on that amendment.
I have a motion for amendment number 2. Do I have support?
Support.
Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor of amendment number 2 signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Okay. The next item is the award of bids for our spring seal coat project. We had this in our budget for this fiscal year, programmed for about $400,000. We put the bids out locally in the papers, and we also directly contacted various contractors who had expressed interest and who've done the chip seal work in the past for us. We have received 6 bids, which was a very good bid climate. And the low bid was $286,000 from Blacktop Service, which we've worked with before. There's no reason to not award to the low bidder, and we would recommend awarding the bid. At which point we would bring back a contract as soon as we have a contract signed and bid bond, or I'm sorry, a performance bond from them.
What a difference.
Yeah.
It is.
Yes. 100,000, but the difference between the 1 and 2 bid was only about 13 grand. So that looks good. Makes you don't think that the low bidder missed something.
Yep. Any other discussion? If not, I would take a motion. Have a motion to approve of the bid for secondary road seal coat project. Schulte?
Second.
And support on Warren. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do you guys want to go into table model updates? You want to just,
He's supposed to be, John is supposed to be coming.
okay.
I don't know if you wanted to quick do the consider approval employee paid dental plan option. It's up to you.
I'll jump on. Okay, we'll consider approval of employee paid dental plan option.
When Ryan was here, we talked about, he suggested either plan 3 or 4. So we did a survey to all the employees that have dental insurance, because they're this one, and most of them all opted but one for plan 4. So it's, $2,000, I think they get out of pocket instead of $1,000. Just, they get more cost. So I did the vision. I gave you the vision instead of the dental. I apologize, but Most of them did Plan 4, the higher one, so.
100% on them, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. The county doesn't pay anything, so that's why the board wanted a survey on that, so that was a survey to do the Plan 4.
Yeah, whatever they want.
So I just need approval on that, and then,
Sounds good to me. I'll make the
the
motion.
motion, okay?
I make a motion that we recognize, or make a switch to that plan in the employee's interest.
I have a motion from Mandy Hook. Support from Mr. Schulte. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Okay.
We need to go out of, I take a motion to go out of session for right now.
Got it.
Motion from Schulte and support from the board to reconvene in later time. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Jason, are you gonna hang around? You're gonna step off?
I'll drop the Zoom portion. I'll just call into the speakerphone there for the conference board.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
Yeah, just hold on.
Yeah.
Rochelle needs practice on it.
I need practice on what?
Michelle's looking pretty good. So you got-
Yeah, or whenever they're done. Probably take 5 to 10 minutes probably, so 5-10 minutes probably.
Worked its way through, or
Yeah, that was 20 minutes.
theirs is pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, it's 28. Get on the 16th, it'll probably go out.
We'll have a good time.
You're full. Yeah. Supposed to be by
No, I don't. I keep moving. I don't like sitting around.
It's gonna be short. FFA's got their pancake today. So
Oh, really? Yeah, that, then the wait maybe another year.
I'm treating the wife.
It's just too good.
We had to start this morning, but we won't be here all day.
That was a nice guy. That was a nice guy. I told her I'd take her out for lunch.
Just a minute. So how was your budget? Expensive.
Ready? If I could all ask you to rise for the pledge, we'll start that today. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Jason's on the phone. I don't know which one to push.
You there, Jason?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I hit the right button right away.
First of all, we need to approve the February 19th agenda. Any additions or correct?
Motion to approve the agenda.
Have a motion
I'll second it.
and support. All those in, or I gotta do this differently. Mayors, School board members?
Aye.
And supervisors?
Aye.
Approved,
Aye.
approved January 29 minutes.
I'll make the motion.
I have a motion, do I have support? A support from Lauren. All those in favor. Mayors? School board?
Aye.
Supervisors?
Aye.
Motion carried. Sharon? Who's next?
Coming down slowly.
I haven't had any comments,
No
negative
comments?
comments or anything, so.
Can you hear us, Jason?
Goodbye.
Yeah, you've under one.
Does anybody else have any comments or objections to the assessor's budget?
I haven't heard anything.
It's about over.
It'll be over before we,
Yeah, before he gets back on.
if there's no comments or objections to the budget, we'll move on to adopt assessor's expense fund budget. Any discussion, questions? Comments?
Can you hear us, Jason?
Make a motion to accept it.
Have a motion to accept.
Yeah, it seems to keep going on mute or something, or on hold
Okay,
now, I get music, but.
should be fine now.
I have a motion from Supervisor, or from Mike to accept the fund budget. Second from Kyle. Mayors,
Aye.
school board,
Aye.
supervisors.
Aye.
Motion carried. Any other business?
I don't have any.
Everybody good?
I'll make the motion on the last one.
Have a motion? Support. To adjourn. Oh. And Alan seconds it. Mayors?
Aye.
School board?
Aye.
Supervisors?
Aye.
Motion carried. Is that fast enough for you guys? Thank you guys all for coming. It takes longer to drive here than it does to the meeting, but
Well, all the people that together, you know, and then they never show up.
Thank you. It's too fast. I hate long meetings.
But it is nice to make it worth the drive for you.
I know, but,
I'd rather have it fast than sit here roughing
Well,
each
yeah.
other.
yeah. Or argue.
Yeah. You said we've done that in the past?
That's happened in the past.
Okay, they're gonna travel over to the high-tech offices, and the meeting will be starting at 9, but I'll probably stay on the line and just try to listen in, but not contribute.
Just a minute, Jason. Who's my,
See if that's possible on my part.
who's my alternate on EMA?
I am, I think.
Can you go Monday night?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so. I think I am.
I looked and I couldn't find my sheet back.
Oh,
I know I'm gonna be out of town Monday night, but I've got a meeting.
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
Yep.
We've got 4.
We need to have a motion to go back into session.
Motion to go back into session.
Do you have support?
Support.
Motion and support to go back into our regular session. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. There's John. John's up next. You're up next, John. Jail remodel updates.
We had 4. I think it's
for,
applicants.
oh, we did? Oh,
So I said, going over to see which ones you want to interview, which ones.
okay,
what
that'll
to
be
do.
minute, what's up? That's
5:30,
isn't it?
5:30 down at the auditor's office.
Oh, okay. What time?
5:30. That's good.
Yeah.
That would be just get some interest in the EMS. I love that.
Has that app been out?
I think so. EMS ad's been out, hasn't it?
I don't think so.
I don't think so, not for Sandy's position.
Why not? I'll talk to her.
This is your copy from
When
the
does
last
she quit
time.
though?
Okay.
Oh, well,
But,
maybe she
but,
doesn't.
but still,
Yeah.
you want to get somebody in there and kind of work with you to see what's going on.
Especially
Okay.
the June 30 stuff,
Yeah.
you know, and then getting ready for the audit and stuff like that.
Well, I think she's still gonna volunteer, but she wants out of that position.
How many applicants, or how many people taking the test?
11, I think, 10 or 11. But it's more for like fire department people, for first responders.
Yeah.
That's the last I've heard anyway. Morning, John.
Good morning, how you doing?
Anytime you're ready,
Okay.
Kevin, if you have any comments in between there, don't be afraid to holler.
Have we got Jason on the line too?
Jason, you still on the line?
Listen, I'm gonna be traveling over to the ISAC offices and
Okay.
meeting starting there soon, so I don't know how long I'll be available.
All right, John was just wondering if you were on the line yet, so.
Good morning.
Morning. Morning.
Just wanted to give you an update of where we're at. I'm getting submittals through, which are like the precast steel and everything we're trying to get processed so that we can get, materials bought out before these tariffs hit and everything. So anyways, I've been working with the contractors. We'll probably have a job progress meeting, here in the next week or two, make sure contractors are set up so when we get thawed out that we can start construction. Have to get in touch with gentleman regarding the monument so we can start looking at what we're going to do there to get the monument moved, finish moving the monument and such. But there is some change orders that I wanted you to consider that do affect some of the submittals and such. And these are change order deducts for the project, which is a good thing for us at this point in time.
I can agree to those.
Huh?
I can agree to those.
Yeah, okay. If we can just hand these around, I guess. I should have enough for everybody. Might as well just get them all out.
One for Jason.
So I wanted to make sure that the board wanted to accept all these deducts. So I'll go over them and then we can discuss them and then vote on whether we want to proceed with them. Would you like to do them individually, Rochelle, or probably
Probably.
approve them individually? Well, on the top, it would say 1.1. Is there an extra one there for sure?
Yeah. Where does it say the 1.1?
Here's,
Are you under the contract number?
If you look at the top right, it'll say contract number 1,
Okay.
contractor change order number 1, and it's the Steffes companies. And One thing is, I wanted to reduce the height of the exterior and interior full height precast by 3 foot. I was going over the plans with the architect and, they're about 27 foot tall and I said, why do we need to go that high? Can we reduce the height of it? And he said, yeah, we should be able to reduce the height of the precast by 3 foot. That deduct was $32,823 to reduce the height of the precast. And these are items that we had looked at originally, Change the precast color from black to tan. I have some pictures here if you'd like to look at some photos of the difference in colors. Right now, the architect has black, and I feel that like a tan, similar to a color like this, would probably blend in better with the brick and the courthouse rather than black. And to change the precast color from black to tan, there was a deduct of $7,245. Delete the removal of the sidewalk and paving at the monument, which has already been done. So that was one deduct. And delete the tree removal and disposal. In the original plans, we had one tree left out there, which we've taken out ourselves also. So I deleted that out of it. Change the flashing gutters and metal to 24 gauge. And that was a deduct of $66,412.50. And realistically, that's what the metal should have been to begin with, 24 gauge. And so that was a substantial one. Delete the Dens deck under the roofing system. They had a hardened decking underneath it, which doesn't affect the overall warranty on the roofing system, the new roofing system. That deduct was $8,400. And on the west side of the building, they had engineer had drawn in a storm sewer, underground storm sewer all along the west side of the building. And in talking to the architect, I feel that we can get trench drain or something put in there that we could surface drain over to the road, and instead of going underground with a substantial underground. And that was a deduct of $16,508.59. So the total amount of deducts for the items that we're looking at here is $135,799.09. So I guess I'm open to any discussions or questions you may have in regards to that. It'd be our recommendation that we go ahead and we accept these deducts. It's not going to change the overall project, and we're going to need that money as we go along, I'm sure anyway. So
I just can't believe changing just the color has that much effect.
there's more too, but I don't want to take a deduct for something that we're willing to accept, and then all of a sudden the deduct isn't as substantial as we thought. So I don't want to take money out and add money in.
But just going from black to tan, that's price, $7,000 difference.
And that's just because of the amount of dye they have to use in the concrete. But these items were critical path, especially dropping the precast 3 foot. Were critical path to me keeping the submittals moving ahead. I figured you were probably going to want to take that one, and I told them to proceed with it. But I wanted to make sure that everybody was on the same page and that we got this change order approved. So it'd be our recommendation that we go ahead and approve change order 1-1 to Steffes Companies in the amount of $135,799.09 deduct to the project, to their contract.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion to go ahead and deduct that from the original. Do I have a support? And support? Any other discussion? If not, I would, all those in favor?
Aye.
Say by aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Okay. And then we're gonna go to the change order contract number 3, change order number 1 to plumbing. So one of the items is to provide a Bach water heater in lieu of a PVI water heater. I can buy 2 of these water heaters for the amount of the PVI. The PVI has a bunch of backnet computer system and such that most staff doesn't know how to operate anyways. I've used these on almost every project that we've done. It's a good water heater. And that was a deduct of $6,800 to switch to that particular unit. The engineers put a lint interceptor tank underground in the laundry room. That was just for the commercial washer. I've never had that in any project before, and all I see that is another maintenance item or something in the laundry room to take care of. We can take care of we've never had a problem with lint with the PVC piping, PVC underground piping or anything before. And we can add a filter up above that can be easily cleaned rather than a great big septic tank under the floor. That was a deduct of $3,880. Under the contract, the contractor was allowed to use ProPress fittings for domestic water use. The ProPress fittings are pressed fitting on a domestic water in lieu of soldering 3-inch pipe or 3-inch copper pipe or anything. I mean, that's acceptable to the engineers, and it was acceptable under the plans. That was a deduct of $4,660. The contractor also gave me a price. Used Viega Mega Press fittings for the gas main, and utility companies and stuff are going to that type of fitting on there in lieu of a threaded fitting. That was a deduct of $2,300. And in the plans, the use of PVC vent piping in lieu of ductile iron piping was acceptable, but they had ductile iron in their bid. To go to the PVC for the vent piping in lieu of ductile iron piping, there's a deduct of $4,400. So the total change orders that I'm looking at under plumbing, which are simple changes to the project that won't affect the overall aesthetics or quality of the project, ended up in a total deduct of $22,040. So I guess I'm open to any discussion or questions in regards to that.
And all these, are these downgrades, or are they just things that, like these press fittings, is that something,
That's
are
what,
we going downhill, or?
no, that's what they're going to.
It's fine?
Yeah,
Are you saying that's to allow them to use the ProPress fittings?
yes,
Yeah, that's where the industry's going, because the speed.
yeah.
Okay.
Plus soldering, I mean, labor just to solder a 3-inch
It's
copper.
the speed, they can lay it in quickly, so.
I just didn't know if it was a downgrade or anything like that.
It's just new fittings that they've come across, what, the past 2-3 years?
Yeah, our new shop was put in with all Pro Press fittings. And that gas fitting that you were talking about as well. It's the speed of how they can work.
Mhm.
Okay.
And the skill level is not high to solder, I mean, to use the Pro Press versus the solder, so.
So I guess it'd be our recommendation that we go ahead and move ahead with these change orders. And approve contract 3, change order 1 in the amount of the deduct of $22,040.
Any other comments or questions for John?
Motion to approve that.
Have a motion to approve change order 3-1 or whatever it is.
I'll support it.
I support the board. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Now we want some more.
I do have some more, but I haven't, and I'm going to go over them briefly because I do have a couple of questions, but
I'll agree to
I'd
these.
like one with 6 zeros.
yeah.
I'll agree to these, so I use your number, the other ones.
A couple of others that aren't affecting the actual submittal process ordering of the precast and such that I was looking at is to change the finish on the precast to go to delete some of the acid etching on the precast and change it to a light sandblast. And I can show you pictures of that, but it's not affecting it at this time. So that would be in a range, the change order would be in the range of $12,000 deduct to make those simple changes. But I'd like time to get pictures together of current projects that I'm doing right now over in Pocahontas and such like that would show you a little bit better of what we might be able to do. And then we can go back to the precast company and get the deduct that we can out of that. I left the terrazzo mop sinks in lieu of fiberglass mop sink. The terrazzo's a little bit better product, and it was only a $1,200 deduct for that. The one thing that I want to work with the engineers on is that along the west side of the courthouse, I thought that currently, you told me there is some type of a drainage system picking up downspouts on courthouse. Is anybody aware of that or?
You're not talking about the steam tunnel?
No,
Isn't
I'm
that-
talking about the actual roof.
Downspouts just drain over top the surface, don't they? Yeah, but I think that back corner by your door is where them steam tunnel comes to the courthouse, but I don't know if the downspout goes down there or not.
Well, they have several manholes along between the courthouse and the new building. And I would like to see if they can actually get it graded so that we can get it down towards where the drive-through is gonna be, the vehicle sally port. Because, we'd want some drainage there anyways, but, they were concerned about the water building up between two buildings and such. And, I think there might be a better way to do that than, if we can make it work, as far as draining to the south and to possibly the north, and maybe get it to, if we can surface drain it to a major drain out there in front of the vehicle sally port. One, I don't want water flowing towards the west through the sally port. I wanna be able to catch it. We talked about possibly in the future, after the jail came down, putting an exit drive out that way and such. So I think there's some way to capture some of the water and get it to drain. But I would get together with the civil engineer to just discuss that with him and take a closer look at it. So I didn't wanna take that deduct at this time, but, there was a substantial deduct to, remove that out of there when we looked at it originally.
I mean, the board talked about tiling around the courthouse. Do we tie that into that, or doesn't that matter and do that later, or this is way above my pay grade, I'm asking.
I suppose that's possible, but it depends on the elevation and stuff, doesn't it? I don't know.
I mean, that's possible if you want, if you're having problems with the courthouse. I mean, it's a $16,000 deduct, so it's not huge. And I wanna take a close look at that. I mean, if you're having any trouble with your basement in your courthouse or anything like that, and we need to get, that could be tied into that storm sewer if you're considering doing something around the courthouse to provide foundation drainage or something for the courthouse. The new jail wouldn't necessarily need it being, or because it does not have a basement or anything, but I haven't heard anything as courthouse currently experiencing some problems with leaking in the basement and stuff.
Yeah, the new windows have caused some issues with that, and we just repaired some offices, and I would hate for us, what we paid for that to not, right? Am I right? That we should have
Did anybody
drainage or
ever look at
something?
that?
No, because I think we were waiting to see
About the jail?
about the jail, so, I mean, I can gladly ask somebody to come, or you, I don't know, Rocky, or maybe he did.
I mean, we get together with them and stuff and take a look. I mean, that could be easily tied into this storm sewer that runs along the east side of the new building, which is already included in the project. So I'm not looking at additional costs there. Be mainly the cost that you would have to, consider for the courthouse to get the foundation drainage, which if we're opening that up over there and doing the excavation, now would be the time to do that. And then you could also tie the roof drains from the courthouse into the same system, and that would eliminate a lot of water in between there, especially if you get snow in between two buildings or whatever. It'd definitely be better than probably trying to surface drain at this time.
You know what the size of the pipe was that they had on the side of the jail?
It's on the plans, so I'll get you a set of plans so that we can discuss that logically. I think Sheriff has a set of plans over there. It should be several sets.
There's a couple sets over there, yeah.
It was a substantial pipe. I wanted to say it was 8 or 12.
Now would be the time to look at it.
Oh, yeah, especially if you're having problems with current courthouse drainage into the basement. If we're dumping additional water off this other roof, I mean, that can only add to the problem.
And they were suggested longer E-spouts, and we did that, and they suggest putting landscaping around the courthouse, but we don't want to do that until we were going to tile first, and then look into that, so.
Where does the sheriff's office, where does that drain? Is that tied in somewhere? Don't anybody know?
It's gonna be,
The old sheriff's office.
the old sheriff's office is tied and it's gonna be run to the west.
Okay.
There's some current gutter downspouts that drain south here. from the sheriff's building.
From the sheriff's building,
Most of
yeah.
it doesn't drain, it just sits on the roof.
Well, most of it comes through the roof, doesn't it?
Yeah, most of it comes from after.
Yeah, because that roofing's being replaced under the current contract. So they're changing that with tapered insulation. So it will be draining towards the west. So that's one of the items that we probably ought to look at moving forward, to take a look at. One question I did have is that My understanding is you replaced the heating and cooling system in the courthouse.
Or in the process.
And
It's not hooked up yet. The unit's behind you. We're waiting for them to hook it up, but
Jason had talked to me about possibly tying a new gas line into that gas line. I did talk to Sibley Sheet Metal. They really don't, we don't have a plan or engineered plan on paper or anything else, which would delete the meter over here by the boiler room or the mechanical room for that facilitates both the courthouse and the sheriff's office. And I just don't think it's a good idea to tie the new facility into this facility. One, we should have separation and talking to the engineers and stuff, and not knowing what the specific engineering is on the courthouse. I don't want them coming back and saying, well, you're starving the courthouse and that's why the system isn't working. I think it would be best off if we leave it per the plans and keep the separation of the courthouse and in the new facility, the existing sheriff's office and the new jail. They feel it's better if we just leave it that way, but a couple of questions that Rick and I are discussing is, if we're tying the courthouse into this new system, do we want to get rid of the boiler over there? I don't know what the boiler would be used for. I gotta believe it's probably, 55% efficient. It's an older boiler. The only thing I could think it would be heating would be the upper level of the old jail.
Upper, yeah.
There's some radiation.
Most of the old jail is with the boiler, yeah.
But the existing sheriff's office and stuff, the newer portion, isn't hooked to that boiler. And I guess, we run hot water over here off that boiler. I can't believe we would be, or we don't think so. Yeah, I would think it would be just hot water heaters. Yeah.
I think, talking to Reggie, we think that there's a leak in the boiler because he's always adding water, and we think it's underneath the cement, so that's what we're thinking.
Once
Talk
the
to
jail
Reggie on
comes
that.
down, there'd be no reason, because they do have some additional furnace that's feeding some of the area that was on the radiant heater in the existing sheriff's office. If we can get rid of that boiler, we'll eliminate about $2,000 worth of piping to repipe gas back to that boiler at this point. And then there's only one other furnace on the west side of the existing sheriff's office that needs to be refed when we switch that gas line, because we will have to eliminate this meter outside of that particular room, out of the existing mechanical room, because gas main would run underneath the building. So the gas main's got to come out and be relocated anyways.
If there's a problem with that boiler, I really don't want to spend money on it.
I wouldn't think so. The other thing is that chiller's tied to the boiler. Do we need the chiller, or do we want to, if we're going to replace that roofing, do we want to get that chiller off the roof?
I would say so.
I mean, I would hate to try to roof around that thing but if we don't need those two items, we can get
That's in
them.
the old jail?
Yeah, it's sitting up above.
But I didn't think we were doing nothing to the old jail. I didn't think we were doing anything to the old jail.
Not to the old jail, it's part of that boiler system, the chiller. So that's what they're using for
You talked about re-roofing something. What are we re-roofing?
the existing sheriff's office and over there.
We get rid of that flat roof.
That flat roof above the sheriff's office, yeah.
No, I know that, but I thought we took that out of the plan.
No, everything's in the plan right
I
now.
don't think so.
So that's included under the current construction that was approved by the board. Nothing was taken out of the project. It was decided that we're gonna move ahead with the entire project.
We're gonna add that teleport and whatever you call it and everything?
The teleport.
Well, whatever you call that thing between the buildings.
The walkway between the
Yeah.
buildings, that's my understanding right at this point.
We never did take that out though, did we?
We looked at what the cost was to take it out.
Hmm.
That was part of the VE items that we decided not to take any of the VE items. So you have the brick replacement, you have the evidence room over in the existing renovations that were phased out. All that's included under the project per the plans and specs that were originally bid on. So right now, everything's in there. I mean, if we're considering taking stuff out, I need to know right away, but
I thought that's what you were gonna work on.
I did work on it.
I thought we were just gonna build the building. A standalone building over here and not do any of the renovations.
That's not my understanding from what the vote was for the board. The vote for the board was to include everything that was included in the plans and specifications.
That's not the way I understood it. I might be mistaken, I'm not saying that, but I thought you were gonna look into taking, because we needed to cut it.
And I took,
Now we're back to $2 million short, Rochelle.
yeah, I looked at everything and I brought all that to the board, and then the board decided at that time, when you guys voted, to include everything that was included in the plans in the project.
Now, that isn't the way I
I
understood
thought we were down to like 1.2
Yeah.
or something.
it. Yep.
1.8 million is where we're at currently.
I thought we were down to like 1.2. Yeah, 2 or 3 short.
I didn't think we were doing any of the renovations in the old building. I thought we took that out. Kevin, how do you remember it?
I remember, I think it was Jason, he wanted to make a motion to go ahead as originally planned.
Yep. So right now, everything's included in the project budget.
Well, the last I remembered, we were like 1.2 short. That's the last I remember.
So are we like guaranteed we're not gonna be over this 1.8 million short, or, I mean?
Well, that's why I'm working on some of these change order deducts, and we had talked about, I think Maggie was gonna work on selling the bonds at premium so we can get some extra money. We gotta work on the interest with the assessor and such, because interest payments could go back within the project. But when the board voted, they voted to put everything.
What are the minutes? Yes, we voted that because you said we had to award the contract as is, and then we could deduct things. And we were gonna deduct things out of there.
No, I did say that, and then it was.
Yeah, it was voted on to continue on with it because you said we had to do that before we had to award the contract, before we could take anything back out of it. That's what you said.
I did say that,
And
but
that
that's
was
not what the board voted
No,
on.
it ain't. No, it's not either.
Well, you have to talk to Jason. I mean, I can pull the stuff back out of it, but my understanding, and per the board, Jason said, I don't want to pull anything out. We're going to do all the renovations. We're going to get it all done at the same time. And you all voted on it to go that direction.
If we voted on it, that's not how I understood it. Maybe I'm understanding, am I wrong, Mike?
No, because I know we were down to like 1.2 to
Yes.
1.3 difference that we had to come up with.
Well, I didn't make a change, let me put it that way.
Because I know.
So
we
you need
come
to
up
look
with
at
that.
your meeting minutes and you need to tell me what you wanna do.
Because I know we can come up with that money, but not $2 million. Or 1.8, whatever. Not unless Kevin's got deep pockets.
Not that deep.
What I'm getting at is you said we had to award that contract before we could pull anything out. And that's
I
what we
said.
did.
I didn't make that final decision though. The final decision, per the board meeting and per the board, was Jason said, we're gonna do the entire project, we'll find the money to do it.
I don't remember that.
Cause I wouldn't make that decision. I would've,
I didn't think any of that renovation and all that stuff was gonna be done in the old jail. I thought we were gonna have a standalone building.
I thought the roof was still on the new jail, or new part over there, but.
I mean, we had all these items. that
Well,
we're gonna do.
where are we at for a figure?
Currently?
Yeah,
Uh,
total.
Well, not knowing how the bonds are being awarded and stuff, I didn't add anything into this. You know, if we're getting extra money on the bonds or anything. But right now, I'm showing that, we are 1.871, 794.51 over the $6,457,000.
That's the number that's gotta come down.
And that's why I wrote these change orders, because I wanted to get at least some of it back out of there.
You're not even close.
Well,
Did you find it, Rochelle?
Well, we just had it that we had to accept the
Yes.
contract as is because that's the way it was presented, but they were gonna work on it for the deducts.
Yes. Yes.
originally.
Because we had to,
On the 27th, though, would be when we,
Wasn't there a price increase or something, was why was gonna be a price increase?
yeah, so we had to accept, we had to accept the bids as is because that's how it was accepted. We didn't have a choice. And then we were gonna work on the deducts that they had talked about. I don't know if, the 27th of that you guys approved the contracts because we had to, but then you were gonna work on trying to discuss other options to deduct. And that's where we're at today.
Cause I know the 1.8, whatever it was, that's not possible. So we've done some scrounging on top of the 1 too.
And we're still not there yet,
No,
and that's not, including any unforeseen stuff.
so including the demo, we're taking the demo back out. Get
I thought that was out. I thought you were taking that out.
We had taken that out. We had taken
everything got put back in that last, thing that Jason made, motion that Jason made. He made a motion that we accept, that we're gonna do the total construction project, including renovations, and we weren't pulling anything out of there. And, I mean, I don't have a problem either way, but we need to make that decision, because that was one of the things I had.
Building this thing.
Yep.
Leaving that, I thought.
Because back to that, we had to award the contract to take anything back out. That's what you told us.
Well, I understand that, and I'm just saying that there is a motion here by the board that the board approved
I'd have
that
to see.
nothing was coming back out, so. And I can still take it out, but
Because I think I voted against it because I wasn't for, the first time we voted on it, because I wasn't for awarding any contract that we couldn't take deductions on.
On Jason's motion.
Well, I had on the 27th, I have you introducing the resolution to award the bids.
Yeah.
And then, seconded by Vanderhoof, and it was a roll call. Everybody was nay except for Jones, or everybody was yay except for Jones on that one. But, I mean, like I said, we had to accept it. I don't see
I
where
think it was
we,
something to tie in the dollars, wasn't it?
yeah, we had to accept the bids as is, because without doing that, then we would have to go to bid again.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, that part I remember.
But then I guess I understood it, how you guys are thinking that we took some of this stuff out, like the port,
Yep.
not doing the jail right away, but
And you were gonna work on taking those things out.
I had those things out and then I was told to put them back in, per that motion that Jason made.
Because
I don't know, I'll do whatever you want me to do. I'll pull them back out of there.
I'd say pull them back out. That's just my thought right now.
well, guys, where are we gonna come up with the money?
Well, that's what we
We thought we were
did.
getting
That's
close.
what you guys were talking about, left and
That's why we've got to start pulling it out now.
Yep.
How much was that if we took that out? Do you remember?
I'd have to go back to the office. 615,000, I thought, total. That includes what I've been taking out right now, which was simple stuff.
Well, that gets us back down closer to the 1.2.
Yeah.
That gets us closer to it. What do you think of that, Kevin?
My main thing is we gotta have the jail.
Yeah.
You know, whatever happens over there, if nothing happens over there, so be it, but we have to get that jail done.
Yeah. How much of a deduct would it be if we left that alone?
I'm not gonna just throw out figures at you, I gotta get those figures. Just confirm them, I mean,
Can you get those numbers?
I can do anything you guys want me to do. My understanding was that the last time I was sitting here, that Jason made the motion that we include everything within.
We can't find that. We can't find that
Oh,
motion.
that's fine, I can go
Where
back.
is it?
But I need a direction, and we all need to be on the same page as we're going forward, because we're obviously not at this point. I mean,
Let's look at taking some of that stuff out, like the jail over there, just leave it alone.
pushing the building back, getting it out of the drive and the whole works.
That's what I'm thinking. That's about the only way we're gonna get it down.
So they were talking about putting some swing gates or something when they.
We didn't talk about any swing gates, I guarantee you that, so. We leave the alley open, we close, and we still close it off, but leave a gap between the two buildings, that you can add that into the future, the walkway. I need to know what we're keeping, what we're not. So I'm gonna put a list together, get it to you guys, and then I'll come up again and we're gonna sit down, we gotta figure out where we're going with this thing. And where you wanna be, so I can start collecting figures from the contractors, and if that's what we're gonna change.
so for right now, we're taking down the old jails out of there, remodeling the existing building, and then that carport you're gonna look into, right? Those three things we're looking into. Just wanna make sure I put those in the minutes.
Well, what we're gonna do, with the way I've worded, is we're gonna come up with a list of items for consideration to either remove out of the project or leave within the project.
Right now, I'd say those three things to take out.
What's that?
The
The
remodel-
walkway?
The walkway, the remodel over there, those yellow.
And the,
Tearing the old house down.
tearing the old house down, remodeling the existing, and then the, tying the two buildings together here. I don't know, they're meeting on Monday again, I don't know if they can,
Yeah,
if that will work or not for you.
I'm here Monday, but,
Oh, Jeff, you won't be here on Monday.
I won't have figures by Monday. But I think what we need to have is we need to have we need to have all the supervisors here. And I'll make up a list of items that we're looking at, so you understand exactly what you're taking out or putting in.
And Monday,
And then Monday, you decide what you want me to get for you.
Monday, two supervisors aren't gonna be here.
Well, then we better do it the following week then, because I'm telling you what, things are coming in a hurry, and that precast that I ordered is part of that walkway too, so.
What time is your doctor's appointment? Is it in Sioux Falls or here?
At 9 something in the morning.
In Sioux Falls? You can't meet until 10 that day, right?
No. 10 o'clock.
I can do it now.
Jeff's gonna be gone.
Yeah,
24th?
yeah.
I'll be gone.
And for the next 2 weeks, I'll be gone.
Might have to come back for one day.
Yeah.
Am I thinking wrong, guys, or not?
I don't know, is Jason on the phone yet?
No, he's in a meeting. I would,
Oh, he's the one that made the motion that you all approved.
Well, it seems to me at that time, we had to tie in
We
the
had to
prices.
do that to
No,
continue.
we had to tie that in, but he told me he wanted to go, that you guys were gonna go ahead with the entire project, including renovations and the demo of the existing facility, and that we're gonna find the money to do it.
He never told us.
And you know what? I just follow what you tell me to do, so.
We didn't tell you that. We did not tell you that.
As a full board, I don't remember saying that, but
It's not in the minutes. We didn't tell you that.
Okay.
I don't know where you're just gonna come up with that kind of money. Not unless he has deep pockets.
You need like Jason, I swear to God, that's what you guys told us to do at that time.
Well, one guy can't do it anyway. One guy can't decide
No, the
that.
whole board voted on this thing.
The only thing we ever voted on was we had to award the contract so then we could deduct things out of it.
And so we didn't have to go back to rebidding it.
That's what we did. It would cost more to rebid.
Yeah. So if you can get some numbers, what it would take to get that stuff out of there.
I had them at one time, yeah.
600 and some thousand, I know that's what it
I
is.
don't remember the number.
Get
I
us
know
to
we
that.
got down to like 1.2.
that would get us to the 1.2.
Yeah.
Yeah, cause I had some, deleting the demo out of the sheriff's office and everything else. I had close to 800,000 out of the project.
That would help like hell.
Yes, it would. That would be good.
But then it got put back in, I swear to God. I wouldn't do that. All I did was write the
But
contract.
can you go back and see what you took out to get that 800,000?
Yeah, I got it marked right down here and you got copies of it.
Because that 1.2, that's not what we already spent to be over budget, right? Or is that the total of this 1.2 or total?
I thought that
The,
was.
the thing that I included, and I go.
It was like 7.4 or something.
Yeah, that's what the bids came in, but that's not what we had already spent. You know what I mean?
That included what we had spent though, here.
It
It's
did,
in
okay.
detail. This current application. So currently, what I have included in the project cost, because I don't want to change it up and down, was we originally approved $5 million in bonds. We had $1,057,000 in ARP funds and $400,000 in general fund for a total of $6,457,000. When the bids came in, I have all the bond issuance costs, architectural fees, and everything else in there. Right now, if you go to column 3 and come all the way down to contingency, I am showing you are $1.8 million, $1,871,794.51 over budget. That's without the deducts that we just approved or the change orders we just approved. In the amount of $150,000, so. That includes everything that's been spent to date also. And for this pay request, we had construction management fee of around $5,900, $32.30 in reimbursables, and bid document reproduction, which was some postage that was left over of $88.83 for the amount of $6,021.13. And we had HVAC Sewer Brothers. They billed for their bond amount of $7,839.87. for a total of $13,861 for the February 1st, 2025 invoices that we need to approve. So that includes all, that figure down there includes all your bond, estimated bonding and legal fees, your bond issuance costs, and everything else in there too.
We still gotta get $500,000 out of there. Unless you guys think we can come up with another $500,000.
It's gonna be awful hard, because I know where Rochelle's all looking now, and it's not $500,000 left there.
Not without borrowing.
Yeah.
From both funds.
And we need permission to do that.
Well, that insurance one you don't, but you gotta pay back with interest. Public safety, that you need permission.
But still, we can't come up with that 1.8.
Well, I would say
You want me to put it back together and?
yeah. I do. What you guys think?
I'd like to see the numbers with taking the old jail down and that stuff, those 3 items.
Taking them out
Yeah,
of the everything out of the project but the new building.
yeah, I'd like to see the numbers on that.
Okay. So I was gonna ask you about the walkway. Are you wanting to sell the current emergency generator or keep it? The new emergency generator will operate
courthouse too?
My understanding is it will operate everything, yes.
If that'll operate everything, then I don't see why we'd have to keep that one.
I didn't know if you're planning on using that in a different building or what. You know,
What's it worth?
I don't know, I
No.
could get a price, I've had some people,
Not much.
Do you guys need it on secondary roads? It'd be nice to know the numbers. Nothing says we have to accept it.
no, but we do have to make some decisions in a fairly reasonable
Yeah.
time limit. Cause materials and everything else are dependent on that, and they're issuing contracts based on some of it.
And really, you guys can make that decision when I'm not here.
Okay.
It'd be nice if Jason had an input, cause I'm sure he's the one that made the recommendation when I was sitting here. And I think that's kinda what you remember too, Kevin, isn't it? Same way, that everything got awarded.
I'm not even
Just
sure why I
out of
remember
shot.
anymore.
'Cause
I thought we
I
had
put all
to.
them figures together and then
Had
we
to award
decided
it
not
as
to do it.
is, and then the deducts came later.
Yes, that's what I thought too. We had to accept the bid so we didn't have to go back for rebidding everything.
I understand that was a previous conversation, but I was shocked when you guys made the decision to award everything and not to use any of the VE items I had collected before. And that's what the motion was from Jason, and the board accepted it at that time.
We don't have that though.
I have 19th when that happened, that you started it. We had the public hearing.
Mhm.
And that was to accept the resolution too.
Right. But then after that, you never accepted the award bids because you were working on trying to deducts.
I'll admit if I'm wrong. Am I wrong? Am I right? Do you remember?
Brian has a better recollection than I do, but I was gonna watch the video.
I think you're correct, and you were told you had to award it as it was bid, and those items could come out later.
Yes.
But then after that, yeah, I believe, so you awarded it that way, but I don't believe there was any instruction to take those items out after you awarded it. So I'm assuming then that he went forward with full award, if you have not given him any other instruction.
But there was a motion to do.
To award the full thing.
I don't think that's an argument.
No.
That's
No,
what we
the-
had to.
My understanding, and what Jason was talking about at the time, is that for pulling the 600,000 out, it wasn't worth it, that we're gonna keep everything in the project, including the demolition of the existing jail and stuff, and that over a course of through 26 before we finished, that we're gonna come up with the money to do those additional items, take that existing building down.
I wish I had a rough idea where that money could come from, but I don't.
I do recall there's a lot of discussion that those can be pushed into the next fiscal year.
That we could do 2 fiscal years to pay for some of this, but
That may be a
Yeah,
problem that
yeah,
can be
yeah.
budgeted out of just by time.
Right.
Call that discussion.
But yeah, it had to be awarded the whole thing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that was a given. That was pretty bond.
Yep. But if you never made any instruction after that to then take those out to him, he's operating under that assumption.
I thought there's a specific vote to keep that stuff in and cover that cost.
No.
Somehow, some way, you're talking about some county home or something, using some of those funds back and forth. There is a general discussion amongst you guys on how you're gonna fund it. But you're gonna have to talk to Jason.
All right, where do you guys want to go from here? Get those figures together.
Yeah, well, I can put them together anyways, you know.
You had this up for 27th?
That's when they approved the,
Yeah, because I was looking back at what I had, and I said, Jason had said, I'm liking the outcomes based on the advice. I don't know that the bids are out of line for what we're gonna see. We probably got our best price right now. My thought would be to proceed as bid, like you said. And then the board approved a motion to proceed with the resolution to award construction contracts by a 4-1 vote.
Proceed as bid.
To proceed with the resolution, contracts as is.
Yep.
But we had to do that.
Yeah.
Let's take 2 minutes. Be right back.
Well, if I misunderstand, I apologize, but that's not the way I understand it.
I'm hoping I didn't misunderstand, but that's what I heard in the meeting, that we were doing the whole project, 600,000, was not enough savings to eliminate some of the things, and then we got the best bid we could possibly get at this point in time, and that we're gonna go ahead and do the entire project. So, yes, you did surprise me a little bit, but I mean, I work for you, so, I mean, I'll do whatever you want.
I would say get those figures together and we'll try to get together as soon as possible.
I
well, we're
mean,
meeting
That should be an
Monday.
easy figure for you to get, shouldn't it?
yeah.
I mean, the demolition, the remodel, and the, whatever you call that thing in between the buildings, that's 3 items.
I'm sure they issue contracts, but they can delete those contracts too and pull them back out. I mean, so. I mean, I have all the contracts back. I guess the only thing I'd say is we need to approve pay application for January or February 1st, 2025, and then I'll start working on this other stuff for you. I mean,
We have a meeting next
Monday.
Monday.
At 10 starting, and then we haven't set or March's schedule yet, but March 4th, we can meet again, or
I mean,
we have unions.
I'm up here.
You won't be here?
Or
No, I mean the 24th,
24th, I won't be here next week either.
And I won't be here.
So it'll be
me and Mike and
Jason.
Jason. Well, we could,
I can be here anytime because I'm up here anyways. I mean, I'm in Pocahontas, and I mean, I'm gonna meet with the contractors too. I plan on meeting with
well,
contractors.
if you can get those figures together by Monday?
I had the figures that I had before that would give us a general idea what
Yeah.
we're looking at.
Yeah.
I mean, do I have the exact nailed down
I'm
prices?
not saying that you have to have I'm within $50,000, I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, I can pull that together,
Okay.
and just so we have a general discussion,
Yeah.
a baseline to discuss. But, cause I asked Rick, I said, do I need to make sure that we're putting all this stuff back in? And Rick said, well, my understanding is it's all in there, but that was a question. I mean, now's the time to discuss
I can see
it.
Michelle's got a sick look on her face.
Trying to come up with this money has been stressful. I'm not gonna lie.
Let's do that. Let's do that. We'll meet, you get those figures together by Monday. And Jason will be here to explain
Well,
his
yeah, I
thoughts.
mean,
And
yeah.
Mike, these two won't be here, but we can decide that, can't we?
Yeah.
You guys okay with
I
that?
have to, yeah.
So Monday is the 24th, right?
Yeah, and they're not gonna meet till 10 that day, so that we can put you first thing on the agenda.
It doesn't matter. I mean,
And we'll just, I don't have
I'll
much.
spend the time I need to spend with you guys. I wanna make sure we got this dang thing
Yeah,
right.
I don't,
I,
there's nothing pressing on the agenda at this point, so we can put you right at 10.
Okay, do we need to
We need to,
consider for approval of pay application?
yes.
And that is what?
At 13,000, right?
yeah,
13,861.
13,861 even.
And that is, I'm drawing that is for I'm thinking about.
Midwest Consultants is for
Okay, there's
six.
no way we can get out of that anyway.
And then, yeah, well, I'm sure there is, but, he just whooped me with a wet noodle. But, the other one's, initial, CW Sitter's initial for their bond.
Okay, I would take a motion for that, pay application.
A motion.
I have a motion. Do I have support?
Support.
Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Mike, I don't know if we're gonna try to get together Monday. He's coming up with them figures.
Okay.
A close figure.
Yeah, I can be here at 10 on Monday.
Okay,
Start the meeting at 10.
Yeah.
okay,
Well, we make that work, sir.
Okay.
all right. Anything else, John? Apologize for getting so upset, but when you're
No,
talking
no, I
$500,000, I get a little wound up.
Well, I get a little wound up on $500,000 back and forth too, and that's why I was kind of shocked that you guys accepted it all. But, whatever we need to do to keep this project going forward is what we gotta do.
Plan no return.
Let's make a deal.
Michelle's just gonna have to figure out how to get, unless we can take it all out of public safety. No comment back there?
Kevin's thinking. I can see the smoke starting to roll.
All we need to make sure is we all are on the same page. We
Okay.
got our ducks in a row,
Okay.
and, I worked on that end of it to make
All
sure
right.
we're where we need to be, but,
Thank you, John, appreciate it.
yeah, and I
We'll
need
see you on
to
Monday.
get together with you after me. I got all kinds of contracts and stuff, and I got the letters written up to
Oh,
return
okay.
bid security.
All right.
So when I do
Let's make a
that,
deal.
Okay, okay.
Oh, let's see. Just got to discuss and review budgets.
Yeah, I made some changes that you guys discussed last week. The main one is to the, county attorney
Remember,
office.
for 2,000.
Yeah, you voted to increase the attorney salary to 130, is that correct?
Yeah.
Yep, so I upped it to 130 for next year. Then I upped Elizabeth. I was off by $50 from what she's currently making, so I had to increase it 3.5% plus that $50 that I was off on, and then the $2,000 raise.
You go to the tabs on the side.
Oh,
So that makes sense, 130.
Yeah.
And then you also $25,000 for a part-time person you had in there,
yeah.
is that correct? And then, of course, FICA and IPERS changed, so I made all those changes to that. And then the only other change I made was to the non-departmental public safety contributions. So I brought that back down to what we're currently paying.
Yes.
Yep.
So that's what I did there. There wasn't any other changes that I was aware of, correct?
Did they put the 100,000 in their budget?
I have not yet, but I will have to add that to that. He hasn't, no one's told me about that, it's what I read in the
We
minutes.
are gonna put 100,000 line item in public safety in case we need it to use for the jail, instead of just borrowing, because we don't know where we're at.
Okay.
We're gonna put that in their budget, and may use it, we may not use it. Looks to me like now we will, and they made the agreement to probably leave it in there for the next few years and stay, in case something comes up.
Well, it's gonna cost more to run that place too.
Yeah, so, and now all that does then is bring the fund balance, the reserve fund balance down a little bit.
Okay.
Because we're at 1.29 or something like that, or
Yeah,
1.3
you're way
million.
over.
We don't need to have that big of a fund balance in that. In fact, I talked with our auditor,
Dave.
Dave, and he said, $500,000-600,000 would probably be a good amount, so.
Now, isn't there any way we can use some of that money for the jail?
Public safety?
Well, we
Or
are.
the 100,000?
Yeah, but I mean,
We could borrow that, but
that's what I'm wondering.
this was a nice way, no interest,
Yeah,
because they wanna know, if we borrowed from them, they wanna know how much interest we're gonna pay them, blah, 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 and we really don't know what we're gonna. Yeah, you could borrow $500,000 from them if you wanted, if they would agree to that, but.
yeah.
And I reminded them that the reason their fund balance is growing is because we take care of 2 deputies.
Yeah.
So, that's
Yeah.
$200,000 a year,
Did they have an answer to that?
basically.
Mm-hmm.
What?
They have an answer?
No,
to that?
they understood that. They were all okay with that. Yeah.
And Kevin never uses all of his budget,
No,
you
he's
know.
very, very thrifty.
Oh,
Yeah, he never uses
You know,
all of
so-
it, so we're good there, so.
So, yeah, Mike, to answer your question, yeah, it's a possibility. If you wanted to pull $500,000 out of there, I suppose you could, but,
I'm just trying to look at all the different options that are out there.
I don't-
now I thought we were kind of down to not having to do any of that, but if we come back to $1.8 million,
Geez, I still thought we were down to about 1.2.
that's what I thought. In fact, I was telling people we weren't gonna do any of the remodels. That's the way I understood it.
Yeah,
Maybe I made a mistake. I'm not gonna say I'm
well, I made the same
perfect.
mistake.
I just think there's so much back and forth that,
Yeah.
I remember that, but then I remember like he said carrying it over, but
Yeah.
Those extra costs would be even another fiscal year
yeah,
later.
I remember that part too.
it just, you don't know what the legislation's doing and I just don't know.
I
So,
apologize to all you guys for getting so upset, but I have a tendency to blow a gasket once in a while, so.
Called passion.
yeah, and you are representing the people, so I get it,
My understanding was we were gonna award the contract and then pull those
Yeah.
things out.
Yeah.
That was my understanding.
And-
I might have made a mistake.
And I know we talked about that, if we're gonna do it, now's the time to do it, because it'll never be this cheap
Based
to
on the
do
bids
it.
that were going statewide, the cost per square foot for jails, we had a good bid.
Yeah,
As much as we
Yeah.
hate the cost, the price per square foot is below the state averages. That was the issue, the urgency of having to award.
remember we had to accept it in order to keep those bids.
Yes, we had to, as is, yeah, and then the next round.
But I thought there was gonna be some stuff pulled out, but if there's a way,
That's probably our fault, my fault, for not specifying, okay, now pull those things out.
yeah, and mine too, I didn't. But now if there's some way we can find that money, that'd be nice. Cause it'd be nice to be able to do it and be done.
Yeah, it would. Not half a
So-
million, but
Yeah.
Where do you think we're at, Rochelle, on that?
Well,
we pull that.
yeah, we,
Yeah.
next year,
Sheriff's deal.
I had
Big one to look at,
$750,000 budgeted out of the general basic to help with that. And we still haven't, I did a new ending fund balance for everybody, and we still have $2,02,320 estimate of fund balance the end of June of '26. That's still a healthy fund balance.
Yes, it is.
And our fund, we never spend everything that we have budgeted ever. So our fund balance, is looking.
So if we use that 750, is that coming off that 1.2 that we thought?
Yes.
So then we're $500,000 short.
Yes.
But if we're another $500,000 short,
Yeah. Then
We're $1
I'm
million.
scared. Yeah.
basically without touching anything, we're $1 million short,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And we could probably take another 500,000 out of general to get us to 1.5. That would be okay. I mean, we're still in the thing, but
Take some out of the medical too.
yeah, we just got to pay that back.
Yeah.
But
That's interest free.
and no, not the medical one's not. Public safety's interest free. The medical one is not.
Oh, okay.
And yeah.
So if push comes to shove, we could come up with the money?
Yes.
I like how you say
Just
that so
like-
quick.
And if you don't want to answer this, you don't have to, Rochelle. What are the the employees' thoughts on pulling out of that medical?
Oh, they haven't, I don't think
Nobody says-
anybody's
I
no
just
one
was
says
curious if there
anything.
was some,
Well,
geez Louise, you know.
They'll get paid back anyway.
I understand that, but if we have 7 major,
Yeah,
you know,
ordeals.
Yeah, no one has.
then we just write the check for it, is that how that works?
Yeah, it'll come out of that fund. Yeah, I mean.
No, but just say we use that fund. And then we still have, does the county just write a check?
Yeah. To write a check to.
Say we got 7 people with major medical, and each,
Yep.
just for easy figuring, each of them was $100,000. And we borrow $1 million,
Yeah.
$500,000, and we don't have enough in that medical, then the county just writes a check?
Yeah, out of the general
To that,
fund, yeah,
okay.
yep. And we're to I can't remember what's the limit that we have to, there's a limit, right, to
Oh,
everybody? Cause there's,
oh yeah,
yeah, I know what you're
I just
saying,
was using
yep,
that.
yep,
And that's probably not ever gonna happen, but,
probably not, hopefully not, but,
yeah, hopefully not.
you know, I don't, for anybody's sake, I don't want anybody to go through that, but.
So just for talking today, so if you guys think we can come up with the money for that, then should we do it again?
If push comes to shove, but I'd like to see where he can,
Well, we would say,
yeah, what we could cut and not hurt the project.
it would be nice just to get it all at the same time, though.
It would.
Good.
It really would.
I mean,
And then it's done.
tearing down the jail, I mean, that's not
That's not a
we
high
don't
priority.
have to do that. What I am worried about is having
Drive-through?
the drive-through, because you don't know how many people come really close to hitting the courthouse.
Garbage trucks do.
Just saying, so, but, okay.
Would it be wrong
I
for
forget.
where that sidewalk is, just making that the exit? Just
Maybe,
taking one parking spot out of there.
maybe.
I'm forgetting, Chairman, is there anything else with the budget?
Yeah, I need your opinion on some things. The main thing is the general supplemental. I had it at $1.10, and you guys want me to put it back to $1. But then our projected ending fund balance is $91,932. That scares me a little bit, but
Go back to the 110.
I didn't know what the board wanted me to do. That'll probably give us another, I had another 60, right? That would it be? And I know we had talked about using that, if we can use that self-funding to help pay general supplemental, but I think we need to hold off on that a little bit so we know where we're at with this jail thing.
Yeah.
Or not. I just need you guys to know what you want me to direct me to do. Because we're getting to a point where we got to get these finalized, because I have to have it in the state's website on March 5th.
I would go back to the 110. That's just my thought, whatever you guys think.
And then next week I will have the debt service levy as well. So another question, we have to make a interest payment June 1st of 25 in this year's budget. And we did not levy any debt service firms, so we're gonna have to transfer from general basic into the debt service levy.
And how much was that payment yet?
Well, I need to talk to Maggie, because first she said it was 205,000, and then she said it was 55,000. So I don't know where I'm at here, but she told me that we could levy the next year for 25, 26, levy an additional to pay general basic back, which I think we need to do, especially with this jail stuff going on.
I'm glad you're the one with these numbers, not me.
Well, I don't know if I'm with these numbers or not. It's just, yeah. My head's swimming right now, so. So then we would so if I went back to the $1.10, then the general supplemental levy would go up like 25 cents from this current year till next fiscal year.
What do you guys think? Say it's $1 or $1.10?
$1.05 would probably give us another 30,000 in there. You know, we never use all the expenses either. I'm just, yeah,
I don't want to come up short either.
no. Because if we do, then we have to take it out of the general to help cover the expenses of it.
What were you saying, Mike?
I'd say go back to the $1.10 instead of $1.
$1.05? I thought about that.
I'll make the deal.
I thought about $1.05.
Okay, $1.05.
Okay, $1.05. And then you guys are okay then, whatever the interest payment is, that we levy a little bit more next year than to pay back general basic, whatever the interest is? Everybody's on board with that? Because they're thinking now the levy, what, 57 cents per thousand for the debt service? So it'll be a little bit more to pay back whatever the interest payment is. The 205 kind of scared me when Maggie said that. I was
I don't
like,
see how you
oh
can
my
do that.
gosh. That was stressing me out a little bit, but okay, well, I'll talk to her and we'll get that figured out then.
Okay.
Other than that, I don't have any other changes that I know of to the budget, as I've been going through numbers, making sure I didn't forget anything, or I'm not seeing anything. But
I'm just trying to think a little bit with the public safety. What we proposed to him, Leroy and I proposed to him, was an easy sell. I'm not so sure borrowing will be as easy as sell. Or do we ask for 200,000? Line item, no interest. If we use it, we use it. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, I'm thinking out loud here, but
That'd be the way to try to approach it, and say that way we can put the jail up the way it should be done.
But we won't probably have a meeting until, well, yes, we will. I don't know.
But you,
I'm like Rochelle, I'm trying to figure out how, if we do the whole thing, how to pay for it.
because your next meeting's not till March 12th, right?
Yeah.
And you've got to be in before then.
Yeah.
We'll leave it there. If we have to borrow, I can
You know, we could always,
propose that later.
and if we need a budget amendment or something, I mean,
Yeah. They were all more than willing to go with that, what I proposed to them with $100,000.
you know, we'll know more in June where we're at, when we know the ending fund balances and stuff, and, you know.
Okay. Are we done with that?
I hope
Michelle?
so. I hope so.
No. Just say no. Just say move on, Jerry.
Okay, move on, Jerry.
Move on. What else? Any other business? Got anything else? I'm thinking maybe you guys can't go on vacation. You're just gonna have to stay here and dedicate your time and effort to the courthouse. They're both laughing at me.
Wow. Those were making
Well,
just
we
come
don't
along in a
see you
suitcase.
That's dangerous when I think, yeah.
I do have a phone.
You know, oh, if you need to get a hold of me while I'm gone, call Diane's phone.
Okay. Well, hopefully that won't.
I struggle when I call in, I just can't hear, there's too much this going on.
Yeah,
And
it's hard.
It's amazing how noisy Cooper is. I
Yeah.
get on that all the
So
time.
anyway, anything else, guys?
Because we're gonna have her phone hooked up while we're
Okay.
gone, for the
Okay.
overseas thing.
Well,
Again,
hopefully
I
there's
apologize you guys for getting wound up, but whatever. Deal.
I think I understood it the way you did.
Yeah, so anyway, if there's nothing else, Keith, you have anything?
I would treat everybody for lunch today.
Oh, the FFA?
Pancakes or pancakes?
I was actually thinking 10:15.
Has to be
I would
5
take a
o'clock
motion
somewhere,
then.
right?
I think I've got a motion left in me.
Okay.
Support it.
I have a motion and support to adjourn this meeting.